I'd like to make a motion that we do not accept Mr. Sirak's resignation.
Second.
So, again, we have a motion, so we will have discussion, but I've always struggled with this one because if someone resigns, whether you accept it or not, whether they hold the position. So I guess I would ask you to speak to that and what your intent is with that motion.
I think the pressure that was put on Mr. Sirak was undue, and I think he did this in the haste of the moment to solve the problem. But we're going to lose a good asset. He is well versed in economic development and other things. And, I think if we don't reach out to him to come back, I think we're going to make a big mistake, and it's going to upset the whole council. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion?
I recall confusion on appointments being made to the Conservation Commission where a citizen felt it was prudent for them to resign so the council would look like idiots. I said idiots. And we, or to correct a mistake that we made. We made mistakes. We admitted we made a mistake, and we fixed the problem by correcting that. So that motion to withdraw as a member of the Conservation Commission in haste was tempered because we wouldn't accept it. So in that case, if we tell him he can't resign and he chooses to resign, which I hope he does not, that would be up to Mr. Sirak. As I said, the council, as Mr. Hess said, and it says right, the council is the sole judgment of qualification of office. There are going to be issues, there's been issues since 1989 that people have been upset on with how the council handled it. Are they complaining? Yes. Is that an official complaint because they did not like the way we handled it? I agree with Mrs. Van Scoy that whether correctly or rightfully so or wrongly, we decided by our inaction not to be direct in that motion to make our support. So our action was that inaction. So if we choose to address something, I said at that meeting, someone right here now needs to make a motion to ask, that chairman to step down. No one chose to do that. Someone could have done that. Mr. Lumbo chose to make a different motion, or was it Mr. Levesque? And it was seconded by Mr. Lumbo. That was the motion that was made. That was the motion that we discussed. Should someone have made that motion? Perhaps. So that's a complaint that a citizen has because someone here did not make a motion that suited that individual. Again, it's up to the council. I run for positions because we all run these positions. We're all running for positions because we think we can make Hooksett better. In this case, so I don't know where we are. We answered the complaint or not, but I believe we did answer a complaint. And we chose that way. It was not the way they wanted it, but that's what the council chose because, again, we are the sole qualification for office.
Councilor Coleman.
My dilemma sits between the fact that we've already supported Mr. Sirak in our first vote of 6-2, and now we're at a vote for asking him back. And based on what Jim just said, I really do need time to think this over. This is too many moving parts, and we do find ourselves moving very quickly these days and always backing and filling, so to speak. I would really like to slow down and make proper steps one at a time without backing and filling. So I'm not really sure to ask Bill back is certainly shown support for him, but without knowing that he wants to be sitting there taking the politics, so to speak, because he wasn't prepared for that. I guess I have the pit in my stomach only on a different level. Where do we go from here?
Additional comments? Questions?
Point of order, Madam Chair. May it be heard?
Yes, you're on the...
My name is on the agenda, and I I was prepared to speak because my name was on the agenda. I did not know you were going to take up the complaint. I had a presentation.
If I could, my understanding is your name is on the agenda and that we are reviewing your complaint. I guess I was not under the impression that you were going to speak.
Well, I asked to be on the agenda. I filed a complaint at one point, and then I made a request to be on the agenda, which I was granted by the town administrator, and my name appears on the agenda tonight. Thus, I had my presentation here. To expedite things, first of all, it was not my goal, and I was not asking that Mr. Sirak be removed as a town councilor. I was asking that he did not serve as the chairman. If Mr. Sirak has resigned and he is not being asked back, I will remove my complaint. Because I agree with the town administrator, my complaint has no merit if he is not a sitting councilor, because then he is not the chair. So I don't want to force you through extra work simply to give me a finding if that finding is irrelevant. So I'm willing to withdraw if his resignation is accepted, because there is nothing to talk about. But I would ask, if you are going to continue, I would like to be heard, as I have prepared a presentation to support my claim after being accepted on the agenda, and I have put work
If we
and time
could
into
continue
that.
with the discussion, right now we have a motion on the table. Is there any further discussion on the motion? And that is to not accept Councilor Sirak resignation from the council. Councilor Orr.
I tend to feel that we're all adults, and Mr. Sirak made a decision. I don't think it was rash. I'm sure you had plenty of time to think about it. And I tend to hesitate to vote on something that he has stated pretty emphatically about what he wants to do.
Any further discussion? Councilor Downey.
Like Ms. Vanscoy said, I struggle anytime somebody offers a resignation. I regret the loss of Mr. Sirak's service to the council in his capacity as councilor or chair, whichever way it was headed. However, out of respect for him and his, to quote Ms. Orr, rather emphatic declaration, I think we'd be doing a disservice to not accept that.
Any other discussion? Councilor Lembo.
Yes, I would have to agree with Mr. Downer that if Mr. Sirak chooses to resign, it should be his prerogative to do so. Although, if I had to talk to him right now, I would beg him not to do it. The problem I have right now is, first, we're about to take a vote we shouldn't be taking because we don't have a complaint agenda. We don't have a complaint process. Second, if we take that vote and some other citizen has an issue with one of us and they filed a complaint, we're going to have to address it, even though we don't have a process. Now,
If I could, I don't believe the vote does have to do with the complaint. Right now, the motion on the table is whether or not to accept Councilor Sirak.
You're absolutely right, I'm sorry.
And I apologize.
Yeah.
I believe the vote has been, that former motion was removed.
It was, but I wanted to speak to it being
Yeah.
removed also, so I'll hold my thoughts.
Any further comment on the motion on the table? All those in favor?
Aye.
Can we read the motion one more time so I know what we're voting?
Sure, the motion is not to accept Chair Sirak's resignation.
Is everybody ready to vote?
Can you do a roll call?
Since it's been requested, we'll do a roll call.
I have a roll call, roll call number 5. Counselor Lazat.
No.
Counselor Orr.
Nay.
Counselor Sullivan.
Aye.
Counselor Van Scoy.
Supposed to go last.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Counselor Komai. Nay. Counselor Downer.
Nay.
Counselor Lembo.
Nay.
Counselor Levesque.
Aye.
Counselor Van Scoy.
Nay.
So I guess, Mrs. Chairman, I guess we don't have to worry about this complaint, and
If
and
I could speak,
wait, if I may, please, and I don't want to cut you off before you leave, but let me, so it looks like we're looking for another counselor. The revolving door at Town 335 Main Street continues. So step in and isn't that amazing? I posted on Facebook, come and see the fun we have at council recently, and someone said, "Do you have fun at the council meeting?" I guess they missed out for tonight.
So if I may continue, based on the comments made by Mr. Pearl, while I understand the complaint will remain on file, my understanding is there is no desire for us to address it at this time. But it is certainly in the council's purview to address it further if that is their desire. And I would entertain a motion if that is anybody's desire at this time.
I guess